I'll let you know how I went from this to this, and by the end of the video I ended up building this set completely. So what's up guys, so here we got Lego Star Wars AT-AP Walker, and this is Lego set 75234, and this Lego set has 5 minifigures, but we're not going to go exactly right into the details of it just yet. We're going to explain exactly what this video is going to be about. I ended up getting this set a couple years ago, probably used for probably around 60-ish dollars. I think it was 40 to 60 dollars. Now this set did retail for 60 dollars, but I think it was close to when I was about to retire, so it really wasn't too easy to find in store. But anyways, I ended up rebuilding this set without the manual in its entirety. I didn't take the set completely apart. It was like really broken up, and then I just basically used the manual to piece together just by flipping the pages and also looking at the box. So it's just basically showing you guys how I ended up rebuilding this, because I do have a bunch of sets still in bags that I just need to rebuild them eventually. I'll let you know how I went from this to this, and by the end of the video I ended up building this set completely. Surprisingly, it really wasn't missing any pieces. The only thing is I did have 2 pieces that were broken, which was weird because they were already broken when they were in the box, but I ended up replacing them, so it really wasn't too much of a big deal. But anyways, let's go to the detail of the set. This is Lego set 75234, and this is the AT-AP Walker, and this basically displays from the Kashyyyk scene, I believe from episode 3. And this set came out in 2019 and then it retired in 2020. This Lego set has 689 pieces and it includes 5 minifigures, which they are pretty decent if I say so myself. The first minifigure is Chewbacca. You got Clone Commander Gree, which is the first time you see him and the only time as of the recording of this video. Then we have a Kashyyyk clone trooper, and then 2 battle droids, which this is a cool version of the battle droids. You have that green or olive green torso, and you got some printing on the head as well. Overall, really good droid in my opinion. And what I think is very ideal, that all the minifigures ended up coming with their own weapons, which is pretty ideal in my opinion. Now, the only thing that does suck about this set overall is that for whatever reason, I really do believe that if they end up adding like 2 different variations of an army, that both opponents should have some form of vehicle. This being a clone walker, I do believe that the droids should have some kind of turret, maybe like a skiff vehicle, something just to add a little bit more of a play. The overall build of this set is actually pretty cool and it's fairly easy. I mean, rebuilding this wasn't as hard as I thought it would be, even though a lot of these pieces were like completely broken out. And honestly, it ended up taking me about 35 minutes is the recording of this video. Even though I fast forwarded for most of it, it roughly took me about 35 minutes to completely build this. Obviously, for this small build, I think it could possibly take around the same time if it was completely in pieces. But I figured I'll do it this way. I didn't want to completely take it apart. I mean, it wasn't really too bad to do this. I've done this on other sets in the past, so doing this is really not that big of a deal. And honestly, if you guys don't have a lot of room to build your sets or to display your sets, breaking them down is the most ideal way. Now, I wouldn't have done it this way when I had purchased this a few years ago. This is how I got it. I've had it in the box for like the last 4 years. I didn't have time to build it and I didn't plan on building it. I didn't even know where to put it, so I ended up just building it just because I do want to end up building a lot of my used sets back into their regular form. Then I'll tackle some of my new sealed sets later on, but I definitely want to tackle on my used sets. I do have a couple sets that are already broken down that I do need to eventually rebuild, and I really do plan on making a series basically called like the rebuild, where a lot of my broken down sets I end up rebuilding them and displaying them and doing a review if possible, if I have all the minifigures. Now, if I don't have all the minifigures, I may or may not do that, but even then, if it's missing 1 or 2, I'm sure it's not too much of a big deal. But honestly, building this one really wasn't too bad. I thought it was going to be pretty difficult, but overall it was pretty smooth. Now, with this set, it does have a lot of good and bad things. Now, the legs end up moving pretty smooth. Now, the middle leg or the third leg in the front, I'm not sure if maybe I pieced it together in the wrong way, but it's pretty loose. It doesn't really stay up. I mean, I know it's supposed to be used as like a playability thing where it just moves, I guess, but it doesn't really add stability to the Lego set. Not sure exactly why. Could be maybe something's not put in right, or maybe I didn't put it on right when I was rebuilding it. Not sure exactly, so I don't really want to give it too much negative cons for that exactly, but that's just something that I noted while building this, and then just trying to play with it, just figure out how it moves and all that stuff. But overall, it's not a bad set. Now, it is cool that each side does have their own compartments. And also the turret is actually a really cool design. So it does have like a little ball joint thing on the back where if you release it, you can move the turret up and down a 360, just do all kind of stuff with it, which is actually pretty cool, I think. And then you just pop it back in order to keep it straight and then it doesn't sag. And then the cockpit area, like the whole front does flip open, and it does have space for 2 minifigures, which is pretty cool. But the only thing I don't like about the set is that it doesn't have any printed pieces. All the pieces are all stickers, which I get it. I mean, this big of a set, over 600 pieces, being around $60. If you do like the price per piece, I guess it's pretty okay pricing. But having a few printed pieces would have been a little bit better. But I mean, it is a it is a decent set. It's a decent price per piece. You got 5 minifigures, even though I don't consider the actual droids as minifigures, but they technically are. I don't know. I personally don't consider droids as minifigures. They don't really provide much value. They're so small, and they're not structured the same way as a regular minifigure. Just like the Lego friend sets, you don't call them minifigures. I mean, you may or may not, but they're like Lego dolls or something like that. I don't call those Lego minifigures. I just call them like Lego dolls. And then the droids, you just refer to them as droids. But overall, this is a really good set. Now, I do believe right now in the resale market, if you were to purchase this set brand new and sealed, I want to say is roughly around 2 to 250, something in that range. I mean, obviously it varies on shipping and where you're buying it from. Now, what I have seen in the used market, this probably ranges between 120 and 140 used, only because it is a retired set and it's only been retired for about 4 years, so that's not really too much of an increase. I mean, yes, it retailed for $60 and it almost tripled, but considering that this has a clone commander like Greed, where he's exclusive to this set, you don't see him in any other sets. You may or may not, I don't remember off the top of my head, but I know in this phase 2 armor you don't see him in any other sets. So I'm surprised it's not as expensive as you would think, because I know Clone Commander Fox, like the older one, is expensive. Rex is expensive, ARC Troopers are expensive, so I'm not sure why exactly this one didn't really, cost that much, but it could also be because he plays such a small role in the movie. So that could be why, I'm not really sure. But overall, it's still a good set for retail, which it was 60, and then the resale is not as bad as you would think. If I had to recommend whether purchasing this set brand new or used, I would probably buy this used. This is not a set that I believe that you should spend the extra money on getting used. I mean, you could buy it used and maybe miss out on a few minifigures. Like if you buy just a walker alone, you might roughly pay around $40-50 with the minifigures included. Obviously, that bumps it up a little bit. And that Chewbacca is a very generic one. He's in many different sets. He's not really that special, so you could honestly just add a random Chewbacca that onto the set. Really not too much of a big deal there. Now the two droids, I'm not sure if they're exclusive to this set. Can't think of it in the top of my head. I know Clone Commander Gree is, so he's probably the reason why this set costs that much, but it's still a good set. This set also does have like a flick fire missile thing on the top of the turret, so you just basically tap it and then it just goes out. Overall, I'm pretty satisfied with this set. I'm glad I ended up buying this a couple years ago. I definitely would not have picked this up for over $100. I don't think the value is there. I think 60 is a good price for retail, and then maybe like if you had to get it used, I just really wouldn't pay more than $120 unless you have to have the full set in its entirety. But anyways, you guys let me know in the comment section below, do you guys collect retired sets? Do you guys just buy them as they come out? I personally don't go out looking for retired sets unless it's something that I absolutely need. And if I do end up buying retired sets, I mostly end up getting them used because personally, I don't really care if some parts are scratched because they can't be replaced. I don't care if it's dusty because you can clean them. Not, if it's missing a minifigure, you could always get it later. Not really too much of a big deal. And if you guys like this kind of content or like this style of video, like this video, comment down below what are your thoughts on this type of video, and also your thoughts on the topics we talked about today. And I'll see you guys in the next build review. And this is going to be from my new channel. I do have another channel where I do other reviews, and this channel is going to be strictly about Lego. And I'll see you guys in the next video.